Alright, how's it going everybody? It is Alninio here, and Season 10 is here. I'm actually very excited for the season. These changes are pretty wild, and I also think it's very important to keep you guys updated on the Katarina runes, of course. We've been updating those since forever, so for every patch, we've tried to always stay updated with the upcoming changes, and now, well, this is a pretty good time now because there's actually quite a lot of changes that is happening to Season 10, including the new Conqueror. So first we'll start with runes, and then we'll start with items, okay? And I don't want to take too long here at the intro. Let's dive right in, okay? So first off, I'll tell you guys the first rune page, the standard, most common rune page on Katarina that I personally use, that most people use. This is it. Electrocute, Sudden Impact, Eyeball, Ravenous. Precision, you go Precision, Triumph, Coup de Ras, Double Adaptive Force, Amar or Armor depending on the situation. Right? Simple enough, right? Now, what if you're against Yasuo? Okay, Yasuo, you'd have to go Conqueror. I'll get to that in a bit. Let's say they have an AD jungler and AD mid. You go double armor. Just like that. If you're against AP, go Amar. That's it. That's the thing that will change mainly. If you're against heavy CC team, so you notice in Champions Select they have a lot of CC. They have Sejuani jungle. They have like some obnoxious crowd control that will literally pin you down to the end of time. Legend Tenacity Triumph. Okay? This is the rune page that you go, but things will change in this rune page depending on the situation. So you want to change from Coup de Ras to this if they have a lot of tenacity, and then you buy Merc Treads because it syncs well with Legend Tenacity. And trust me, it is actually worth going Legend Tenacity. It has literally saved my life against the infinite Ash arrows that stun me for an hour, or that Morgana bind that literally takes forever. You actually wouldn't believe how useful this would be, even as a Katarina. Goodness, it's a lifesaver against heavy CC teams or CC champions that, like, the CC would just take way too long. Okay, so that's for the first rune page. I don't want to take too long here because these videos are usually really long when I make them. So because I always get into detail and try to explain to you and convince you more that this is actually a decent rune page. But let's head right over to Precision. This is the Conqueror path. The new Conqueror is actually pretty good, so this is what you would do. Okay. This is the path that you go if you're going to play Conqueror against Yasuo. This is actually really good, and generally Conqueror isn't bad right now after the changes. So I would actually give this a shot. And I will also explain the build path in the item section after. But first, I'm going to talk about the runes. I'm going to keep it strictly for runes. Now, why do we go Taste of Blood and Ravenous? Because Taste of Blood heals when you damage enemy champion. Ravenous Hunter, after you kill someone, you increase your healing percentage. This works well with Gunblade. This works well with Taste of Blood. And it works well with Conqueror. So, it's literally perfect. Those three work really well together. And right there it says when fully stacked heal for 50% of the damage you deal to champions. So you heal for 50% of the damage that you would deal to champions. So it's really, really good for long-term fighting. Okay, so this is the rune page here. This will change based on the situation, like we talked before. Okay, so that's rune page number 2. Rune page number 3, literally the same thing as Electrocute, but this time Dark Harvest. Like that. And swap the Legend Tenacity and when you have to in this situation. This is really good if you're going to go for a snowball situation, if you're smurfing in the lower elos and you're a Katarina Legend, you're TNC no Akuma, you're Cat Evolved, you're Cat Life, you're whatever, you're Flyerbeklol, and you're smurfing in low elo, right? You're that guy. Go Dark Harvest and you'll kill everything. And this is a heavy snowball keystone. This is when you're definitely going to be proccing a lot of Dark Harvest. So there's no saying that Electrocute is better than this or this is better than Electrocute. You just go for one. Go for one depending on the situation. If you feel like you need Dark Harvest and you can proc it more often, go for it. I personally love Electrocute personal preference for me because I really love the damage it gives out in lane, and with Gunblade, it's a lot of damage. So I'm a big fan of that, and this is what I would go. So that's 3 rune pages we've talked about so far. Now we'll talk about changing secondary. Oh, by the way, as Katarina, you never want to go sorcery, resolve, or inspiration as primary. Mostly never. Some people I've seen go sorcery cat, but just don't, man. Just go domination or precision. These are the things that you want as primary. Now, secondary, you have options, right? The first option we've talked about is precision, triumph and coup de roi, or triumph and legend tenacity. Those are your main 2 options. Okay, simple enough, right? Your next 2 options is sorcery, absolute focus, gathering storm. You can go Scorch if you want instead of Gathering Storm, but I really, like, you're not a poke champion. I would maybe go for this on a poke mage, but your Katarina, your job is to all in. It's a different way you're going to be engaging. You're not going to be poking as much in lane, so I would go absolute focus, Gathering Storm. When do you go for this? You go for this if you're just going to snowball and roll people over. You can go Dark Harvest as well with that instead of Electrocute with this. There is no good and bad. Like, you can go precision and you can go triumph and coup de roi. You would still kick ass because triumph gives you back life after every kill, gives you back a bit of health after every takedown, which fits Katarina's playstyle. This is like a heavy, snowbally, gives you a lot of AP, flat raw stats for you to carry. So, like, this is a hard carry build right here. I just like the versatility precision gives over sorcery because of triumph, because of legend tenacity, because of coup de roi. These options are really good on Katarina, and I feel like precision is overall a more tactical, smarter approach, especially like in certain situations. That's not to say that this is bad. Sorcery, you can go for this. You can snowball really hard. So there's no good and bad. Like I said, no good or bad. This is personal preference. Both are good. Resolve. Well, Resolve, I've never went for Resolve ever as secondary. When Second Wind, you could go Second Wind and you can go whatever it was, Bone Plate, yes. But now they're in the same row, so you can't pick them both. But that's what I used to do. I used to pick both in harder matchups. You can't do that anymore, so forget this. I would never go Resolve. Inspiration, you can. Magical Footwear, Stopwatch are good options. Biscuit, Minion Demet... Goodness, I'm gonna say this wrong. Minion Dematerializer. Minion Dematerializer, also a great option. Time Warp Tonic, good option. Don't go Approach Velocity. Cosmic Insight can work because of cooldown reduction. Again, this is absolutely something I would never go, but in case you are an Inspiration fan, here are options, right? Magical Footwear, you can go for this for the early boots, and Time Warp Tonic. So if you consume a potion, its health or mana restores immediately, and you gain a bit of move speed while under the effect. Or you can go Biscuit with that. Or if you feel like you're against Zed, you go Stopwatch with Biscuit or Stopwatch with Time Warp Tonic. Either way, I'm not a fan of Inspiration. I personally would never recommend this to you because, well, it's just not something that many people go for nowadays. Maybe before, but it's still an option, so I want to include it for you guys because I know some people are Inspiration fans. But anyway, the main thing is you want to go Precision or Sorcery. Inspiration is like third option for me, personally. But you can go for this if you want. You can go for the boots with Time Warp Tonic if it's your playstyle. But personally, not my playstyle. This is my standard playstyle. Okay? So now that we've talked about runes, I'm going to head into items. And for items, well, we do have a lot of options. So I suggest you chill and just hear me out because there's actually quite a bit to talk about here because there's different options. So I'm going to take it slow, okay? Explain to you nicely. There's no rush, all right? There's probably going to be another long video. These are always long videos, aren't they? The whole Katarina guide videos. Okay, but let's dive right in, seriously. First starting item, longsword. Almost always you start longsword, okay? Dark Seal, it's okay, but you're Katarina. You want to make ballsy plays. You want to play aggressive. You want less hit better. You want to punish enemy cooldowns in the mid lane, and you want to play aggressive based on that. Go longsword. For the most of the times, you're going to be going longsword. Thorn Shield, like, it's good against poke and stuff, but again, if you play Katarina really well, you can win with longsword because you can punish enemy cooldowns. So say Ziggs threw a Q and threw his W, now he doesn't have much to trade with, so you can all in him. All he would have is maybe Satchel, but you would win the trade because Satchel doesn't do that much damage. You get me? So like he has the poke and the wave clear, but you have the trade. You want to time your trades, so that's why I say start longsword, because it allows you to play more aggressive early. And it's the way to go for Katarina, honestly. Like for me, 100% of the time, longsword start. On your first recall, after you buy longsword and everything, and you recalled and you have some CS, I would go for another longsword and a revolver. So try to get revolver and then another longsword. You can go cutlass if you want, but I really think just try to go for the hexshot revolver. So obviously do that and try to get boots. Sell your health pot, buy a refillable pot as well. So you don't waste too much gold buying health pots. You can just buy a refillable and have it there. So that would also be good. If you have extra gold, buy a dark seal and buy the revolver. So you can do that because refillable would work well with dark seal and it will sustain you more. So that's how you do it early on your first pack. That's mostly what you're going to be buying. Eventually you're going to finish Gunblade, and then you're going to select a boot option, one of those three. Ninja Tabby, very rarely do I go Ninja Tabby anymore. It's either Merc or Sork. Even if I'm against AD, I go Sork shoes. I don't go Ninja Tabby. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy like that, but I really don't see the point personally. Like when I can go flat pan instead of going for like a bit of armor that I already have in my runes, and I'm gonna have Zhonya anyway. Like, I don't know, it blocks basic attacks, it's fine, you can go for it, yes, it'll help. It's especially gonna help if they have an AD jungler and an AD mid. So, it will help. I'm not gonna say it's completely useless, but even then, I would still go Sork Shoes because I favor the flat magic penetration quite a lot on Katarina, and Sork Shoes gives me that. Even if I'm against double AD mid and jungle. I'll have armor in my runes. So that's how I look at it. So Gunblade, you're gonna have one of those boots. Obviously, if you go Legend Tenacity, you can go Merc Treads with it, and it will be even more tenacity. And against heavy CC teams, definitely recommend Mercs. Flat Pen, really great for snowballing. Ninja Tabby, not really the greatest boot option for me personally, but you can buy it if you want. Your next item will be Oblivion Orb. Remember, we're going for the Electrocute path. This can be also the Conqueror path. Like, this build can work for Conqueror as well. I'm gonna get the Conqueror build in a minute, okay? But first, let's just talk about the core build that Katarina's would build. Okay, so now we have Gunblade, boots, Oblivion Orb. Don't finish Oblivion Orb and buy Morello. Big no-no. That's actually a common mistake I've seen people do, is that they literally just get Oblivion and then they finish Morello. It makes no sense because Morello as an item is really not that great compared to Rabadon, Void, and Zhonya, which are much better items. And if Morello gave me extra magic penetration than Oblivion Orb, I'd probably take it. The only reason I buy Oblivion Orb is because it gives me magic penetration. That's why. And it's good with Sork Shoes, because then you have a lot of magic penetration. Flat magic penetration, keep in mind. So going for Morello, I really don't see the point. Personally, I don't see the point in that because it doesn't offer you more magic penetration, which is what I want from this item to begin with. It just gives you more health and more AP, and a passive that for grievous wounds. Now, if you're in a matchup against Vladimir and a top laner that also heals, let's say there is a Vladimir mid, they have a top lane that heals like, could be anything really. Renekton's Ferocity Q, when his rage bar is over 50, he Qs. But then again, like, anyway, you get what I mean. If there are a lot of champions, Soraka. Okay, Soraka support, Vladimir mid, Warwick jungle. There you go. Okay, there you go. That's huge, right? There's 3 people that have healing. You can buy Morello. Yes, Gunblade, boots, Morello. Immediately, you can buy Morello because the Give You Soon's passive will actually really help you get kills. Those are situations where I would go Morello. And I would finish Oblivion Orb. Normal situations, no. I just go Oblivion Orb and then I continue my build. Okay? So let's just focus on now. Gunblade, Tier 2 boots, Oblivion Orb. Those are the items that we have. We have 3 items. Okay? 3 items. Our next options will depend on the situation. So we finished our core path. These next items, we pick one of these based on the situation. If I am carrying like crazy and the people I'm playing against aren't building any magic resistance, I literally just go Rabadon here and kill everything because they don't build Amar. This is usually what Smurfs do against low elo players. They just Oblivion Orb into Rabadon and they all die because no one cares enough to buy magic resistance, and they just follow one guide, and you know they're clueless. They just follow the exact same build path without really understanding the situation. Like, I don't want you guys to take my word and like everything I say, I try to make it like based on the situation every time. See, I'm not just saying buy this every game. I don't like that because this game is so diverse and there's so many situations. So I want to give you all the options, right? So Gunblade, Tier 2 boots, Oblivion Orb, Rabadon, and then Void Staff if they build Amar. If they still don't buy Amar, get a Zhonya. And then finally get a Void Staff. If they still don't buy Amar by the end of the game on your 6th item, well, they're bad. Okay, so, but I would recommend you get a Void Staff as a 6th item because it is still good by late game, and you still need it. Like, you can't not have a Void Staff as a 6th item. If anything, you could just get Dark Seal and get Magi, but honestly, I would say just be smart and be safe about it and get a Void Staff, because you never know. Maybe they'll go full 300 IQ mode and they'll actually buy Amar by the end of the game, and you don't have a Void Staff, and that would suck, right? And obviously, by the end of the game, you want to finish Oblivion Orb and get Morello, right? So that's what you want to do. So 1, 2, 3, and then you get Rabadon. This is if you're snowballing. Get Rabadon, and then you can finish Oblivion Orb here if you want. Finish Oblivion Orb, and then get Zhonya Void. Or you cannot finish Oblivion Orb and go the other path and get a Void Staff. If they're starting to build Amar, forget finishing Morello, finish the Void Staff. Hopefully I've been clear so far. So yeah, that's one build path. The other build path is Gunblade, Tier 2 boots, one of them Oblivion Orb, and then Zhonya, Void Staff if they build Amar. If they don't build Amar, Rabadon. And then after Rabadon, you finish Morello, you get a Void Staff. You see how you're building? You build based on the situation. You always press tab, you see their items, you see all this stuff, and then you buy. So I'm just giving you like the basic idea of what you would build. And how you would build based on that situation. Because this is a game that you never want to build everything every way, every time. So it's very important. What about Rylai Liandry against heavy tanks and you can absolutely do no damage? Those are usually really bad games for Katarina, where everyone's a tank and the tanks are carrying, imagine. Thankfully the meta's not really like that right now, but there was a time where tanks would just carry the game. The Zac days, everyone remembers. So I would go Rylai Liandry and I would deal with those tanks that carry. Because you literally can't hit the back line. These are really hard games, so you'd have Rylai and Liandry. And Rabadon Void, right? That would be your Liandry, Rylai, Rabadon, Void, Tier 2 boots, Gunblade. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You wouldn't get a Zhonya, you wouldn't get a Morello if you buy Rylai Liandry. They work well together because Rylai slows and Liandry applies extra damage if they are slowed. Also, Liandry is really good with Conqueror because they work well together. Conqueror adds up stacks in long-term fights. Liandry, with the burn damage, also heals you because of Conqueror. I'll get to that in a second. I'm going to talk about the other build path with Death's Dance. I'll be getting to that now. Banshees, if I build Amar, pretty basic. I wouldn't buy Zhonya and Banshee together, by the way, in one game. That's extremely way too defensive. Stick to one defensive item. Usually it's gonna be Zhonya on Katarina, um, because you can just be in a status and avoid stuff. And if you really wanted the Amar, you get Merc Treads. You'll have the Amar from there, and you'll have the Amar from runes. Personally, haven't bought Banshees in forever because I feel like Zhonya just allows you to make more aggressive plays, and putting yourself in a golden statue seems to do the job just fine. So I would recommend that. Lichbane, if you're trying to finish off the Nexus and be like Xpeke, and just finish Nexus, easy game, and then you just type in chat, GG, easy, see you later. Moments like that, I go Lichbane, but that doesn't really happen, so I never buy this item really, but I have it there as an option because you never know. Maybe I want to make a cool YouTube video and get thousands of views. I would do that. Backdoor Xpeke with Lichbane. I'm a legend. It's not that cool though. So yeah, don't, just don't. Spellbinder. If you want to carry really hard early on, sure, this works. Personally, not a fan. I don't want to take too long with these items because they're not that, like, they're not core. You're not going to buy these every time. But if you're going to snowball, you're smurfing, whatever, Spellbinder could be an option. A lot of damage, a lot of AP. The active gives you 80 AP. So it's a lot. So this is completely fine. You can go for this if you're going to do a bunch of damage. Next up is QSS. Not the item that I would buy every game, obviously, except against Malzahar. I think QSS, the only item I buy, the only time I buy it is against Malzahar, because you remove all CC, and you can just avoid Malzahar's ult pretty much instantaneously. When do you buy this? After Gunblade. You finish Gunblade, you buy your TT boots, then you buy QSS. It's gonna save your life. I mean, Malzahar ult, even if you buy Tenacity and you have Legend Tenacity against Malzahar, it doesn't stop it because it's a suppression. And suppressions, keep in mind, Tenacity doesn't stop suppression. So Warwick ult, Malzahar ult, you can't stop them with Tenacity. You can stop them with QSS. So you would go QSS in that situation. Hexdrinker, have never bought it in forever, but it can work early game. If you're in the higher elos, this would be a pretty decent choice. If you're maybe diamond and under, I haven't seen people buy Hexdrinker much. In diamond, maybe they would buy it. Maybe high platinum, they'd buy it. This is a good item though. Early on, you can buy it against Syndra. Her ult burst is really high. Against LeBlanc, Annie, it's a good option. Again though, if I want Amar, I just buy Merc Treads for the Tenacity as well. It's like you get Amar from it, right? You get Amar from this item, and you get Tenacity. Here, you get Amar and a Magic Shield. It's up to you. I would recommend buying it early. Never finish this item. Don't buy a Mob Memorius or something. No. Keep it Hex and then sell it later. Death's Dance is going to be the item you buy after Gunblade, for the most part. Now, let's talk about that real quick here, because I put down here just for this video guide, Conqueror path. I don't really have this usually, but I'll just keep it here to explain this easier. This is your path if you're going for these runes. Okay, I'll very quickly go to runes here. I'll go for the rune page that you would go here for this. Taste of Blood, Ravenous, Conqueror. Okay, the 3 healing runes, plus, okay, we do that, plus Gunblade, Death's Dance, Liandry. Let me tell you briefly how this works. Gunblade gives you lifesteal, Ravenous Hunter gives you lifesteal, Taste of Blood gives you lifesteal. Conqueror is good because of extended fighting. Now, why is Liandry good here with that? Because, if you read right here, it deals 2% more damage for each second in combat, 10% maximum. What does Conqueror do? The more you fight, right? The more you fight with Conqueror, the higher your adaptive damage goes up. So with that, with Liandry, right, you're going to be dealing a lot of damage overall. So it's not like you won't have damage. You are going to have a lot of damage with this, as well as every time you burn an enemy at 10 stacks of Conqueror, you're getting life, right? Imagine this, okay? with Death Dance as well, which is also an item that would give you lifesteal and cooldown reduction, and you heal more if it's AoE, so that's literally your dagger. So this is the order that you would buy, right? Gunblade, boots. Okay, let's just put, like for example, Sorc shoes here, just to make it a little bit more neater. Gunblade, Sorc shoes, Death's Dance will be your next item here, and then Liandry. And then you have to finish your 2 items. Could be a Rabadon and a Void Staff, Zhonya, Void Staff. Usually it'll be Void Staff and Rabadon, because you'd have so much sustain with this. You have a lot of survivability. And with Conqueror and Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter, you have a lot of like healing. And Liandry's, with all this, is a lot, man. It's actually quite a lot of healing. With the new Season 10 Conqueror. I don't know if they're going to nerf it or not. They might, but this is an option. This has been an option for a while, but even before the Conqueror changes, this was an option. This was actually a legit build path with Conqueror. Now, just because you go... voice crack. Just because you go Conqueror doesn't mean you have to go for Death's Dance and Liandry. You can still go Conqueror with Gunblade, Oblivion Orb, and the exact same build path as I said before. That's fine. You can do that. I've done it. I play against Yasuo. If I play against Yasuo, I don't go Electrocute. I go Conqueror. I go Conqueror and I go for Oblivion Orb, all this stuff here. I don't go Death's Dance Liandry. But however, I'm doing Death's Dance Liandry nowadays because I wanted to see with the Conqueror changes how that would be. And it's actually really good. Goodness, it is actually not so bad with the new Conqueror right now. So this is a legit build path. You can go for this if you want. Death's Dance, Liandry, Gunblade. A lot of healing, right? Gonna save this real quick. I'll just remove this because I can just buy these items here. I just wanted to be clear with it and put it down here for you guys for the video. But those are really the runes and items that you generally would go on Katarina. Hopefully I've explained them neatly, nicely, all that stuff. I wanted to make this video like as convenient as possible without any annoyances, because I hate annoying videos that don't get to the point. That sucks. So here you go. I hope this helped out. Thank you for watching, and God bless you, my friend, and good luck on the Rift. Peace out. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive?